Welcome to Gavin's Grotty Guitars, where I go through the loads of stupid, horrible grotty guitars that I've got hidden in my house. Like many of you, I'm sure, or if not, here's some good advice for you. I've always bought cheap guitars. I've always bought cheap guitars because they're cheap. I then spend a wonderful amount of time trying to make them not so grotty. So it really should be called Gavin's Not So Grotty Guitars, but it's not as easy. It's not got triple G's. Frank the cat's still here. So this week the amp is off. It's acoustics. Acoustics, of course, we can pick up anywhere for any price, and everybody should start off, I think, or probably do, with their father's Spanish guitar. They're very cheap, they're very available. These two Spanish guitars I don't think cost me a tenner. They're a little bit interesting to play around with because, of course, being nylon strung, you don't have neck adjustments and you can't play with that. If they're really rubbish, you can do something like this with them. And we're back in the room. I wouldn't advise it. The birds haven't liked it for some reason. They do like the squirrel picnic bench that I made them earlier in the lockdown, but not the Spanish guitar bird feeder, which is a bit of a shame. This one is an Encore, dirt cheap, overly glossy everywhere. The tuners were okay. The tuners on this other one are fairly horrible. But flat fretboard, very wide neck. If you haven't got a Spanish guitar, go and get one, because they're an interesting style if all you've ever played is electric guitars with skinny necks and steel strings. Obviously not as much tension in nylon strung guitars. Top three are pure nylon, the others are nylon wound in steel, or certainly a steel compound of some description. Go around a campfire when we're back out of plague lockdown and some bugger will have one. It's wonderful fun to play. I love these guitars because of the wideness of the neck and these stupid great bananas fingers. Like all guitars, you get what you pay for. I think for probably, let's call it a £5, I got a lot of guitar. Stringing them up is a little different. You have to tie them off down the bottom, and there's a lot of wines at the top. I don't think I even strung this one. I certainly wouldn't have put that many wines on. Because they're nylon strings, it's lower tension, and you don't have a truss rod in the neck. So there's no adjustment down here or up here. That makes them a bit easier to make, but of course, being an acoustic body, they're a lot more difficult to make. Enormous fun. Get yourself one. So that's that one. Quite high action. So I thought, what fun how low can I get the action? And I took this one, this is a Hohner, made exclusively for Hohner International in Taiwan, this one. Yet again, it's not an actual inlay, it's a sticker. What I did do, however, was lower the nut, lower the bridge and lower the nut. I took it down with a couple of files to give it a relatively low tune. Shouldn't be that stiff. Great fun. Slightly less glossy. The action lowering is nicer. I'd say it's a little bit louder and it's got a little bit more bass to it. The tuners are just dog awful. But, yet again for a £5, what do you care? But Gavin, I don't want a spectacular guitar. Okay, fine. Fair enough. Now, if you're one of my old students, you might recognise this. I got myself a bunch of very cheap acoustic guitars, got the action usable when I was giving lessons, so people didn't have to spend a couple of £100 on a guitar they were never going to play again. Borrow this one. If you like it, keep it, for God's sake, it costs nothing. I think this was between £20 and £40. Stress and Pain. Never heard of them. Doesn't really matter. It's just an acoustic, it's bright red. I have taken the action down. It's got a few dents and bangs on it, as any student guitar really should have. It's okay. There you can hear the action is too low. The neck needs a little bit more of a bend in it. That needs to be higher, and I've certainly taken it down on the top E string far too low. Really? What do you mean? That. So, answers below. What would you do to fix this problem? Which is would you, number one, fiddle with the neck. There's an Allen key in there. Number two, raise the bridge. Number three, redo the nut, make that string a little bit higher. Well, number four, would you grind down the fret, which is a little bit higher there. Well, that one's too low. You tell me. However, for between £20 and £40, it's great for chucking in the back of the car and playing wherever you are. How does this compare to a half-decent acoustic guitar? Well, just a wait to one moment. This is a Finlayson. If you're in Scotland and you've been to Guitar in the last 10 years, you might have seen them. It's their own brand. I went to Guitar in excuse me, Edinburgh, and I fell for the oldest trick in the book, and it was very poor on my part, so hopefully you can learn from this. I wanted a half-decent acoustic guitar at about 350 quid. I was looking at a bunch. There's a couple of Epiphones that were really nice. The one I really liked didn't have an acoustic output. And this has got Fishman pickups in the bridge, and including something really nice, which is a phase reversing switch, which means it doesn't feed back quite as badly when you amplify it. It's also got a built-in tuner, so there should be no excuse for this being out of tune. Tried one in the shop. To be honest, it had the best sound. So I thought, yes, practice what you preach, Gavin. It's how it feels and how it sounds. This one sounds better than the Epiphones you're buying. So I bought it. I even bought the hard case for it. So impressed. I got it home, or rather, I got it back to the place I was staying at, and they'd swapped it out with one from the back. This is the one from the back. The setup on it was dreadful. The strings were a good centimetre at 12th fret, and just awful in every way. It took me a long time, a lot of reading and a lot of care to reset it up, to get the action down and to get it playable. I played a couple of gigs with this, but truth said, I had to put a capo here in order just to play this section here with decent enough action. So I transposed the song that was probably in E to play it up here. So in my ears, that's got a fuller sound than this one. This one's quite tinny. Doesn't have a very pronounced low end. You have to get some sort of dreadnought to get a... to get that. But this is the better one. Other things to remember when storing guitars, especially if they're new guitars, is not to store them with straps on. I did, and stored it for a month or two in a case, and because finishes on guitars take a long time to off-gas, there's marks on the back there from the strap, and on the body here. A little bit dirty. However, all in all, a fairly fine guitar. Lord knows what it's made out of. I met the guy in the shop who'd spec'd them many years later. Said that it was a fairly fine guitar. Dreadfully set up. He goes, well, we don't set them up. No idea why. I think that's just a major sin. Anyway, that's the acoustics all done. There's probably a few more upstairs, but I've no idea where they are. So I'll be putting all of these back up in the loft, bringing down some more and doing some more demos. I hope you're all keeping safe, keep inside, keep well, keep practicing. Go and watch Justin Guitar to learn more. Fender are doing a whole bunch of stuff at the moment on lockdown. They're all rather good. Look up your tabs. Somebody else has probably got them out there. And keep playing. Keep safe. Bye now.